Welcome back, Trickers and Truckers. Well, time for the penultimate episode of today, and features the return of Q in Hide and Q. So, here we go. The USS Enterprise is en route to Quadra Sigma to take colonists caught in a methane explosion when Q reappears and demands that they abandon their mission to compete in a game. He teleports Commander Riker and the bridge crew, with the exception of Captain Picard, to a barren landscape, and appears in front of them was wearing a uniform of a Napoleonic-era French marshal. He explains the rule of the games to stay alive, and after Yor refuses to compete, he transports her back to the bridge of the Enterprise in a penalty box. Q returns to the bridge too, to dock Picard and setting a wager. He explains that the Q Continuum is testing Commander Riker to see if he is worthy of being granted their powers. Picard, having the utmost faith in his first officer, takes the bet, as winning it would mean Q would get off their backs. Meanwhile, Riker and his team were attacked by what Lieutenant Worf reports as vicious animal things, wearing French soldiers' uniforms from the Napoleonic era and armed with muskets that fire energy bolts instead of the classic projectiles. Q returns to Riker and tells him that he has granted him the powers of the Continuum, and Riker promptly returns his crewmates to the ship, but remains behind with Q to ultimately reject the powers. Q brings the crew back to the landscape, this time with other phasers and with Picard. The crew are attacked once more by the aliens, and both Worf and Wesley Crusher are killed. Riker uses the powers of the Q to return the crew again and bring both Worf and Wesley back to life. Yay! I guess. Riker makes a promise to Picard never to use the powers again, and the ship arrives at Quadra Sigma. A rescue team beams down and discovers a young girl who has died. Riker is tempted to save her, but in the end, he refuses to do so out of respect for his promise. However, he quickly shows signs of regret at this decision, which he expresses to the captain. Tensions between Picard and his first officer grows as Riker now seems to be embracing his powers, and his behavior toward the crew begins to change. At Q's suggestion, and with Picard's blessing, Riker uses his powers to give his friends what he believes they want, including turning Wesley into an adult, giving LaForge his sight, and creating a Klingon female companion for Worf. All the recipients reject their gifts, however, with Data even anticipating and declining Riker's attempts to make him human. Picard declares that Q has failed, and when Q attempts to go back on his word, he is forcibly recalled to the Continuum. Haha, I guess. Picard is pleased to see Q gone, and praises Riker for confirming his trust in his number one. Yeah, but I have a feeling Q might come back eventually, so there you go. Anyway, let's get some production notes here. Writer Maurice Hurley requested that his contributions to this episode appear under the name of C.J. Holland because of the number of extensive rewrites by the show's creator, Gene Roddenberry. Hurley later described the situation as a, quote, misunderstanding, as the situation was subsequently resolved and proved to be a turning point for the series and how scripts were produced. Subsequently, Roddenberry spent less time conducting detailed rewrites. Some of the elements of Hurley's original story expanded on the backstory of Q's species, explaining that there were only 3 Qs, but another 100,000 residents on their planet who required relocation and the planet was dying. These elements didn't subsequently make it into any future episodes. The episode marked the return of John Delancey as Q. Cliff Bole was returning as the director for the series, and knowing that Delancey would appear as Q, Bole watched a counter Farpoint in order to maintain Q's tone. He found after shooting began that his research wasn't required as Delancey slided back into his previous role naturally. Bole later described the episode as, quote, a lot of fun, and Delancey as, quote, a joy and a creative guy to work with. Delancey will return in the second season episode Q Who. Meanwhile, the removal of the character of Deanna Troi from this episode alongside 3 other episodes made actress Marina Sirtis believe at the time that she was about to be cut from the show. Elaine Neely guest starred as the female survivor, while William A. Wallace appeared as the adult Wesley Crusher. The theme of the episode, where a humanoid gains the powers of God, is a recurring theme from Star Trek the original series, having featured in several episodes, including the second pilot where no man has gone before, and Charlie X. The most similar episode from TOS is Plato's Stepchildren, where the character Alexander also projects godlike powers in a similar manner to Riker and Hyde and Q. The premise would once again be revisited in the Season 6 episode, True Q. Yep. Well, overall, this is a pretty fun episode, and hey, having Q back on the show is always a delight. So, with that in mind, I give Hyde and Q 4 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon as we take a look at the final episode review of the day with Haven. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.